just awful. Right, awful. And I used to stand in the wardrobe with my fingers in my ears, because he'd just scream and smash himself. It'd be really just blood, you know, my God. And I would just stand there and I'd go, la, 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 just endlessly in the wardrobe. And then before Neil would come in at night, I would be running my wrists under the cold water and splashing my face and all that and trying to compose myself enough that when he came in, that maybe Jack would be all right for 15 minutes before something else would knock him over the edge and he'd start smashing himself up. So that seemed as though that was because you couldn't have Neil coming in and thinking all day, because that time we had a new baby. My God, you know, and see when I was pregnant with Rachael, I was just like, oh my God, I don't want another one of these. Nobody told me this is what this was going to be like. I would never have had another child in a million years, and yet, God, Rachel's just been a 24-hour tutor for Jack in neurotypical behaviour. You know, she's been the role model of how to be human in that total, just normal way, and if she hadn't existed, I can't believe how it would be. Totally regular, Joe 90 baby, Joe normal baby, and there's hundreds of paperwork to say, it's all these things, it is all these, because they always say to parents, oh well, you know, they don't speak well before that anyway, and it's just your imagination that you think that they were different before, but no. He just lost everything within the week. Even within, he just seemed to go, his eyes went black after it. We'd take him up to the hospital because he was vomiting blood and all that. Right after it was really bad. And then, of course, when he came out of that, he just never came out of that. He was just a different child. He just wanted to hurt himself all the time, lost all language, would only point, and he had, like, you know, I can't remember, like 3 or 4 words that you would need to get by, but other than that he would just point or grunt, or if he got it wrong he'd just start smashing himself up. And he'd always hit himself off the corners of things and all that, like so hard, so brutal. Whack his face off the corners of radiators and all that, and you just couldn't believe that he could cause himself so much pain and not be in pain. All he would do was, but all right, as long as he was doing his trains. That's all he did all day, was just build wooden tracks with trains. And they just went everywhere, and if you, God forbid, you bumped into it, he'd go mental. And that was it, and you just had to leave him be, and he would just watch the Teletubbies. So, diagnosis was autism, and because he was so out of control and he just had no kind of interaction with people or with any of his peers or MD, they just said that we'd be better. No, we wanted to keep him back another year in nursery to see if he could deal with mainstream better at the end of that, but actually they said that he would be lucky if he got into a special school, and that they didn't even think special schools in Glasgow would accept him, and it'd be better if he went residential and just concentrate on the normal child we had, more than the child you thought you had, and because he'd never have any friends amongst his peers anyway, he would never be anything, and just to all his abnormalities and deformities and brain damage, just to leave him be and get on with your life and devote your life to something that you could have a life with, and that Jack wouldn't give you that. All in front of Jack, you know, and at the time I was just thinking, imagine if somebody sat and told me that I would never have any friends. Imagine if somebody told you that your life would be nothing without your pals. That's what, because even your family and your friends, that's what life is. And so, yeah, cow, Dr. Kate Mackay for future reference. Because I had said that I'd read about this diet and, you know, that it was for children, it hit themselves and all that. And she said, no, load of rubbish, not scientifically proven, certainly not going to make a difference to your child, and not to even waste my time, waste my money. And I asked if there was any books or anything, because I knew nothing about autism, only Rain Man, that's like the global understanding of autism. And I said, I really love books. Is there any books I could read about this? No books. I said, I've just got a computer, I'm not very good at it, but is there anything I could find? No, nothing you can read about that. Which I know, isn't that insane? Like, now you know, imagine her saying that, imagine her having the right to think that she could be the gatekeeper to knowledge. To just outrageous, just think, and she treated me like a child. You know, when we get diagnosed, they sat me on a child's seat in the room, and she was sitting on the adult wooden seat and I was sitting on one of the plastic wain seats, just to complete the picture, you know. Just, and not one word of niceties, not one word. And it was that whole grenade in the pram. Shh, there you go, bye, see you. Go away now, we've just totally, you know, deal with your own family implosion. Deal with it as you will. And I mean, honest to God, I could so easily have turned my back on Jack at that time because he was wrecking our lives. It was just horrific. Just the most upsetting thing in the world. Couldn't give him to him. Couldn't let MD babysit him or watch him. And because there's a certain level of, it's not about embarrassment, I don't mean that in a shallow way, but you don't want people not liking your kid. You don't want people thinking your kid's an absolute maniac. So you try to hide that. If you could see it in his face, if he was going to go, I would just remove him from a situation. But even when I was really pregnant with Rachael, he had an absolute fit down at the shops one day and trying to drag him up the road, and well, he's totally smashing himself up and thinking, my God, if MD sees this, we're going to get picked up. I was so heavily pregnant, trying to manage him up the hill, and, you know, so part of me, if there'd been enough people saying, you could have gone, I will maybe the best, and they were saying, there's best place for him, he'll get, you know, the best care, and people who know how to deal with that, not like you know, you're completely removed of any level of responsibility or any level of any notion that you could take responsibility. Any level of any notion that you could cope with it if you were helped. Started diet, emptied the cupboards, just cleared the cupboards like a madwoman, cleared the whole place out and just brought back in the purest of food. And we always ate nice, you know, I've never been kind of fast food eaters, but went to eating the most basic organic, and it cost a fortune. And I wasn't able to work at that time, obviously, with Jack, and Neil wasn't bringing in a good wage. He was on his... he was still apprentice French polishing at the end of that, and we were just bringing in hee-haw, and it just all went on food for the children. And I would be up at like 5:30 in the morning baking cakes for them to take to their lunch.
You all went gluten-free?
Because it had to be, and you know, if there wasn't there, you couldn't go out and grab something in the shops, couldn't you? I mean, at that time, you know, you didn't. I mean, now you can get into a supermarket and get hundreds of stuff. At that time, you couldn't. Only the major supermarkets would have a wee bit. You couldn't get into your local shop and get anything. And so everything just changed, and Nana and my mum was so brilliant. She's like, right, she's a pure baker, so she just get right into it, and everybody just went along with it, because you could see instantly people like that, oh my God, Jack's pure, and he just started learning, and he started seeing Rachael. She was no longer a pain in the arse if she fell on his tracks. He started playing with her and putting things over her, and still his language was really slow, but you know, just started getting it, and then his auxiliaries in school, and everybody loving him and wanting to help him, and just got better and better. Had his circle of friends, did all the things, did all the supports that we were taught about. I knew how to deal with press, all these things we'd been taught at Partners. I joined the cross-party group at the Scottish Parliament. I joined all the autism things, all the disability forum, everything to try and change at every level. Just immersed myself, because I needed that as well, Needed to immerse myself, needed to know that I could make a difference. I mean, ultimately doing it for Jack, you know you're changing the world for loads of wains, but you've got to change it for your kid. Knowing that I needed to change, Scotland needed to change before Jack came out of school at the other end. Needed to be different, and nobody would give of their budgets. I was saying, because when I did the Hannon project at York Hill Hospital, they were sort of trying to teach how to deal with a child with autism, but it was just a load of shite. It was people who didn't know kids with autism, who never lived with children, had no idea. All the parents are sitting around the table going. Meanwhile, I was starting to take in loads of information about diet, about fish oils, about ABA, all these different kind of therapies, about funding people could get, about how people could access government bodies, how people could do all these things, and I made up a 10-page foolscap thing, Albi's Autism Auxilary. When I think back, and I don't know how even I've just started working the computer, and I gave it out to everyone in the second last night, the Hannon project, and the women were raging. But see, all the parents, they were all like, oh man, this is brilliant. And one of the women came up to me and she said, you shouldn't be giving out that information. Some people aren't ready for that level of information. And I said, well, if they're not ready, they can go home and put it in a drawer. And then they can open that drawer when they want to open that drawer. It's not your place to withhold that information because you think that folk aren't ready. You know, just absolutely shocking.